With me, I have got two representatives that come through from the province of KwaZulu-Natal in South Africa. On my desk in the office, I've got a little list of countries that shows the size of GDPs. And on that list, it includes the provinces of South Africa. And KwaZulu-Natal is the 12th largest economy in Africa if it were a country. So the question we're asking is, how does it get up higher the ladder? I have two representatives, like I said. Let me introduce them. On my left, I've got Ina Cronje. She's the chairperson of the Trade and Invest KwaZulu-Natal. Thank you, Ina, for your time.
Thank you very much.
And to my right, I have got the CEO, that's Neville. Thank you, Neville, for being here.
Thank you.
Okay, let me begin with you, Ina, and begin perhaps by talking about the general strategy to try to get investment into KwaZulu-Natal. We have seen a drive by the president trying to get the country growing again, and we have also seen the private sector coming on board and playing its part. What do you represent as KwaZulu-Natal in that bigger picture?
Yes, KwaZulu-Natal has often been described as a sleeping giant. Now, it's obviously not sleeping too much because our economy is growing quite well, but we want to be the largest contributor to the GDP in South Africa. At the moment, we are the second largest contributor to the GDP in South Africa per province. Yes, what are we doing? We are really working very hard. We're saying KwaZulu-Natal is open for business. We are reaching out to Africa. That's why we're here today. We are reaching out to the world. We are reaching out to our BRICS counterparts as well. And we are saying KwaZulu-Natal is the place to be if you want to invest or trade in South Africa. Why we're saying that is it's not just wishful thinking. Our strategic advantages are manifold. We have the largest coastline in South Africa, close on 600 kilometers on the eastern seaboard on the Indian Ocean. Because of that, we have two major ports. We have Durban, which is a very large port, mainly container port, and Richards Bay port, which is a bulk port. With those two ports, of course, we have access to everywhere that you can reach by sea. We also can be reached by air very well. We have a very large airport, King Shaka International Airport, a state-of-the-art airport, only 10 years old, not even, about 8 years old. And we are inviting more airlines to fly directly into Durban. Currently, we have quite a number of those. So in terms of strategic location, that's the place to be. Very good road network, rail network supporting those harbors and the airport.
And of course, while you may be the place to be, it is a beauty contest because you are competing against the world. Neville, in terms of what you offer, what incentives can one, if you were talking to an African audience of investors, would you say that KwaZulu-Natal offers that would entice them to come and put their money down there?
Thank you very much. Apart from the wonderful climate and the great opportunities that we have within our province, we have special economic zones. We have one which is located at our main airport in Durban called Durban Trade Port, and the SEZ by the airport offers a whole range of sectors that companies can invest in particular the pharmaceutical industry, the ICT sector, as well as electrotechnical sector. So those are the main ones. But over and above that, because it's within an airport, we're also looking at the aviation sector. Now, part of the master plan for the province is also to look at an aerotropolis. Now, that whole master plan is packaged with investment incentives for companies that will locate within the aerotropolis. Further north of KwaZulu-Natal is the port of Richards Bay. And at the port of Richards Bay is the SEZ called Richards Bay Industrial Development Zone, and that specifically looks at light to heavy manufacturing companies that would locate themselves in that area. Part of our initiative is also to support the presidential drive to attract investments into the province, and that drive we've been able to package investment projects that are actually uploaded onto our website, where investors can actually see that I'm able to invest in this project, in this sector, and a lot of pre-feasibility studies have already been done for those projects. Out of those projects, 15 of them are actually included as part of the presidential marketing drive to attract investors.
So you are weighing in, but like I said, Neville, it's a beauty contest, isn't it? And everybody has got special economic zones. How do you differentiate yourself?
We are strategically located on the Indian Ocean Rim, with two of South Africa and one of Africa's largest port, the port of Durban. It's the biggest, definitely, absolutely. And in terms of our network, logistics, as well as our infrastructure, we are very, very well resourced. Our linkage to other destinations, as part of our drive, is also to encourage export trade using the belly of the aircraft, and there's been a drive to really do an entire regional connectivity. So there's direct flights from Durban to Zambia. We're finalizing Durban to Harare. There's direct flight to Mauritius, basically in the close lying areas, direct flight to Gaborone, direct flight to Namibia, all coming from King Shaka International Airport. So that regional connectivity is not just looking at tourism, it's also to fill the belly of the aircraft.
Yeah, I can see you're trying to steal Gauteng's thunder. Ina, if I can come to you, of course, when you talk about South Africa these days, we have to talk about some of the challenges of investing in that particular country as well. And top of that, you've got to talk about this whole land expropriation without compensation issue. To an African audience, perhaps not so much, maybe more to international audiences outside the continent, but from a government perspective, maybe just explain for someone who may be thinking, I'm worried.
No, I think as a South African born and bred and living in South Africa, I am not worried. And perhaps that should be some reassurance, because if South Africans are worried, then the world has reason to be worried. If we're not worried, then the world should not worry. The history of our country is such that people were deprived of their land by foul means, let's put it that way, politely. And I think we cannot run away from that. One of the objectives, that is the key. That is the key. That is the key. We cannot fix it if we do not fix that historical injustice. There is still a lot of underlying deep-seated anger, and I think it does affect relationships between people in the country. And that is really something that we need to address. And there's also the issue of justice and fairness. So you have to address the land issue. It is the elephant in the room. It's been the elephant in the room ever since 1994. Yes. So what I'm saying is, we are not worried, because this is something that has to be, and we have been reassured, and we are seeing the report emanating from Parliament and the vote on that report. It will be done in a way that will not harm the economy, that will not affect the productive capacity, the agriculture of the country. It will be done responsibly. We have a very responsible President and Cabinet and members of Parliament. So it will be done in a way that's fair and equitable, not arbitrary.
And in accordance with the law, I might add.
In accordance with the law.
Okay.
We're a country under the rule of law, and we will remain a country under the rule of law.
For sure. Neville, if I can end with you, and from your perspective, I want to know what kind of investor you're looking for here.
We're looking for an investor, two types of investors. One that already has deep pockets, that will know exactly what they would like to invest in within our region, and we will be able to take them through the value chain of investing into our province, from finding the location, finding partners, finding suppliers, the entire value chain. We have a one-stop shop that actually does the facilitation from company registration to work visas, etc. The entire value chain will be able to assist the investor in there. The second type of investor that we're looking for is an investor who's looking for a partner in South Africa, who will then do joint projects, not only for South Africa, but also for the continent. This is an Intra-Africa trade, and that is what we're looking at. Export-led investments that will generate not only foreign currency for our country, but also to impact on the continent.